welcome back to my channel. So today I just want to talk about this really interesting pottery trend that I'm seeing pop up in different stores. I'm seeing also a lot of Instagrammers and bloggers, and it's popping up on Pinterest. A lot of DIYs that are popping up that are showing their own versions of how to create this trend, but for a whole lot less. So recently I went thrifting and I found a couple of vases that I knew would be the perfect match for this particular project, and I've made them over and I want you to see what I did. So all it requires is a little paint, a little dirt, and a little extra, DIY magic to turn these old thrifted finds into something really beautiful. I was personally inspired by a fellow Instagrammer named Jackie Daly who did this, and I was like, you know what, I can do this. This is easy, and if I can do it, I know you can too. So I just hope that you'll follow along. I'll show you the step-by-step process, and it'll be easy. So let's do this. So it all started with one trip to a thrift store while we were in North Carolina, where I found both of the vases that I got, not that one, at one shop. Perfect. So I found the perfect pair. I love the shape and sizes of both of them. Now I just have to get them home. So right after I brought these thrifted pots back to the house that we were renting, when I opened up the back of our SUV, out rolled this particular pot and broke onto the street. So it's broken into a couple of different pieces, but I've got some Gorilla Glue. I'm gonna stick it back together and hopefully make it like new again. Okay, so according to the directions, you are supposed to dampen one surface with water before you glue it. So I'm gonna take my water bottle and lightly go around the edges, and now I'll add some glue. Okay, I've dampened the one side, and now I'm going to add Gorilla Glue to the other side per the directions, and then I will mend them together. So I've applied the glue, I've just put the pieces together, and it's actually, I think it's looking pretty good so far. There's a few hairline fractures in a couple of places that I'm hoping will just be strengthened once the whole thing gets put back together again. I've got a section that I'm going to have to repair down here on the bottom, but I do have the piece for that. So once this dries, I'll apply this little section to it, and this little bit goes into the inside. I don't know that I need it, but I'll probably stick it on there just as a precaution. I'm gonna let it sit for about an hour or so before I add this extra piece. But while I do that, while I wait, I'm actually gonna wipe off some of this excess in the hopes of kind of smearing it into those cracks. I don't want it to glue with an extra bubble on the outside. And then I'm also gonna take some of the excess paint and rub it into these hairline fractures in the hopes of strengthening them as well. Taking some glue onto my cloth. I'm literally just gonna put it in those cracks. Hopefully it will strengthen it. Okay, I'm back outside and I've checked on my vase. It's been sitting out here for about 2 hours, and it feels really nice and stuck back together really well, I think. So I'm gonna fill in this little hole here with my extra piece and hopefully get this bad boy looking good again. So I have to go through the center of the vase in order to get it back together. Looking back on this, I should have put the small piece, I should have attached it to one of the pieces before I put the two pieces together. So if you're going through something like this as well, put the small piece, attach it to the other half before you attach the two pieces together, because trying to fill a hole is not as easy as I thought that was going to be. So I'm painting this piece, so the glue that I'm putting in here, extra glue to hold it, is not going to show because I am going to be doing a paint technique on this along with some mud in the hopes of making it look like it's really old, even older than it currently looks. Back outside, the pot that I worked on yesterday that was broken has been glued back together and it looks great. I'm going for an old world look for these. I want it to be something that looks like a relic. I know you can get a lot of those that are sort of the earthy, natural, creamy color. I wanted something a little darker. I was gonna go for more of like a black or a gray. So I wanted it to be matte finish. So I went with a chalky spray paint. This is called Anvil Gray, and I think I've just given it a coat of it, and I think they both have turned out really well. I'm gonna let this dry, and then when it's done, I'm gonna give it a mud rub. Such a really beautiful, earthy, old world look. Okay, the vases have dried, and now I'm taking this mud mixture that I've made and I'm smearing it onto the vase in the hopes of it drying out and looking really cool. I know it looks questionable at the moment, but just bear with me and stay tuned to see what it looks like next. Okay, so the pots are covered in mud. It looks like it's gonna rain, so I'm gonna leave them out here on the porch to dry out. And then once they're completely dried, I'm gonna wipe off the excess and let's see what I come up with. Okay guys, so the mud is finally dry on the vases. So I'm just taking just a dry cloth and I'm wiping the excess dirt off of it. And you can see it's leaving this nice like patina on there. So far, I'm really loving the way that's turning out. And it's so much cheaper than going to, like, say, Pottery Barn or a store to buy them. The mud is free and the vase is thrifted, so let's see. All right. Look how pretty that is. I'll give it another little bit of a wipe down, but I think that has turned out so pretty. I'm loving the color of that. That worked out really well. Okay, my next and final step in finishing the vases is I just want to give them a good coat of this matte clear enamel from Rust-Oleum. I'm hoping that by giving it a spray of this, it will protect the finish of the mud on there so it doesn't wipe off, it doesn't rub off on anyone's clothes, or if it got wet, it wouldn't, rinse off. So that's my last and final step, and I'll be done. Okay, so I'm just going to take the spray and give each vase a light coating of it. I'm not going to overspray, but I do want to give it just a little extra protection. And just as a reminder, anytime you are using any sort of spray paint, make sure you're doing it outside or in a well-ventilated area and that you've covered any surfaces that you want protected. So it wouldn't be a true DIY video if I didn't give you the ups and the downs of the process. And I'm actually not thrilled with the way the spray enamel landed on the vase on the left. It took off some of that mud finish, giving it that old world look that I was going for, and it looks a little too store-bought. So you guessed it, I'm gonna be reapplying a coat of mud, and that's okay. So the spray enamel might not have worked on it this time, but it was worth a try. I do like it for the vase on the right, so I'm gonna keep that, but I'm gonna give it another go for the one on the left. Okay, so the second coat of mud has been applied to this vase, and I actually think that it turned out really well, and it looks perfect with the smaller vase. So I've given it a really good wipe down, and I'm really excited to get it styled up and to show you guys. Okay, we're back at our apartment in New York City, and I've placed these vases on our dining table, and I really love the way they look. No, they weren't really old and they're not really found, but it's not always in the budget to go and maybe spend that kind of money on old beautiful pottery. And so this is a really nice way of finding something thrifted, adding a little paint, throwing a little dirt on it, and making it your own. So I hope that you've been inspired to try something like this yourself. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed that and hope that you're inspired to do something like that too. It's super easy. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to do so. You can turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. And other than that, that's bye for now. Thanks so much.